Okay, so I'm an English teacher, and the title of my talk is Toothpaste. I want to tell you right now, toothpaste matters. And it's not why you think. The reason I say this is, in an especially junior high school English or junior high English classroom, rules are important. You know, they tell us post your rules, make sure that the kids know what's expected of them. So I've got my rules posted, but I'm an English teacher. Rules are boring. So when I had to write them, I couldn't come up with, be good, stay in your seat, that type of stuff, because I wouldn't want to read them. So my 5 posted rules are: find something to read. Okay, that one's easy. I tell my kids always have a book with them, so I had to bring a book. Listen more than talk, which is just good advice for life. The teacher's not a television. Practice the 3 R's, which are rights, responsibility, and respect. And toothpaste matters. Now, 2 of those should have left you questioning what you mean. First, the teacher's not a television. Well, that means, TV's on all the time. It doesn't care if you chew gum, eat, talk, get up and go get a snack, go to the bathroom, whatever. The TV doesn't know I do. And yes, I do care, so don't do those things. Gives me a chance to have that dialogue with the students and actually maybe have their attention. Then we get to toothpaste matters, and I ask them what that means, and I always get, oh, you want us to brush our teeth? I'm going, no, that's not what the rule means. Yeah, that's nice. It's a nice side benefit, but that's not what I'm talking about. And then I get into a discussion where I ask them, how much toothpaste do you use when you brush your teeth? So I want everybody to think about that. How much toothpaste do you use? And think of it in relationship to the toothbrush. How much toothpaste do you put on the toothbrush? And when they get thinking about it, it's 90-95% of the kids, well, you just put a stripe of toothpaste and you cover the whole brush. And then I ask them the important question, why? Why do you use that much toothpaste? And nobody knows. I had one kid about 8 years ago get really adamant with me, you have to. But why? Because you have to. But why? You have to. I mean, he just kept getting more and more animated, but his only answer was, you have to. He had no idea why. And then I tell them why. What do you see in the toothpaste ads? You see a toothbrush. Usually it's a nice big, you just see the head of the toothbrush, and there is this big stripe of toothpaste coming up and covering the entire head of the brush. And every year when I say this, I always have 1 or 2 kids that, oh yeah, and those curly cues at the end are really tough to make. I've tried. And they all think, okay, yeah, well, that's why. Okay, now we get to the next important question. Who's paid to take care of your teeth? And that stops them for a minute, and they think, look around. Well, I don't know, my mom. Well, no, I'm sure your mom cares about your teeth, but she's not actually paid to. Who makes money to take care of your teeth? And finally, they'll say, well, the dentist. Well, yeah, exactly. Have you ever asked the dentist how much toothpaste to use? No. Yeah, that's his job, is to take care of your teeth. So who are you relying on to give you that information? Well, the advertiser. What's the advertiser's job? Advertiser's job is to sell you toothpaste. He's doing a marvelous job at it. I'm not trying to knock advertisers, because he is doing his job very well, because if you ask the dentist or the oral hygienist, they'll tell you need the size of about 1 pea. So instead of this much, you need maybe this much. And I've been reading toothpaste boxes. I've been looking at the ads. Nowhere on the box does it say you have to use this much. In fact, there's a popular brand of toothpaste that has 3 different colors to it. I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about. On the side of the box, and I just checked at the store the other night, they show you, this is how we make our toothpaste. We take a big, nice white stripe, and it covers the whole brush. And then we add a blue stripe, and it still covers the whole brush. And then we add a red stripe, and it covers the whole brush. Nowhere in that description does it say this is how much to use. They're very careful not to lie to you. They're being ethical. They're doing their job. They're selling you toothpaste. It's the same thing that the shampoo manufacturers did years ago. They added 1 word to their bottle and doubled their sales. Do you know what that word was? Repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat. And all of a sudden people thought that you had to wash your hair twice now. If my mother washed her hair twice, it would have all cracked and gone away. Her hair was way too dry. Me, I have to wash it twice. It makes sense for me. It didn't work for her at all. The other one that, for the guys, that I found that's interesting is how much shaving cream did you use when you first started shaving? Nice big handful, because that's what you saw in the commercial. And you got it all covered over your whole face, and you still had a nice big handful of shaving cream that went in the sink. So why does this happen? How does this happen? And why is it important? If we think back, back to 1938 and a certain radio broadcast around Halloween time of the Mercury Theater, we've known for decades the power of the media. The radio broadcast I'm talking about is Orson Welles' presentation of War of the Worlds, where they did a dramatization of the H.G. Wells novel that sent, especially the East Coast of the United States, into complete panic. And if you listen to that radio broadcast, I'm sorry, but it's not very convincing. It's obviously a play. If you know anything about science, if you see something erupt on Mars, it's not going to be landing 10 minutes later. It takes several weeks at least to get it here. But that's what happened in the course of the show. And they've analyzed it. They've gone back. In fact, it's interesting to me why it happened, because at the beginning of the show, they say, we're doing a radio drama. We're going to take this novel and make it like it was a newscast. And then they start to do that. Problem is the Mercury Theater was a low-rated program. Not a lot of people watched it. Everybody was watching the Edgar Bergen show. And why ventriloquist on radio was so popular, I don't know, but that was the big show at the time. And so the whole country was listening to that show. 8 minutes into the show, they announced, and we'll come back, and I can't even remember the lady's name, but she was a singer who was not very popular. So everybody changed the dial and ended up in the middle of this radio drama and then panicked. Well, why do we do that? Why do we believe those type of things? Well, it's because of the power of the media. And how much control does the media have on us with just what it presents? So as I get this discussion to go on with my students, we talk about what they believe and why they believe it and who they believe. The whole bottom line being, it's important to check your sources, know who's giving you the information and what their motives are. And by this point, the students most of them still don't get it. So I tell my final story, which is what happened. One of the first years I talked about toothpaste, I talked about it in the fall, and then I didn't do anything with it the rest of the year. 6 months later, in the spring, we had 3 or 4 minutes left at the end of the class, and I was done. Everything they needed, they had. So one of the girls raised her hand and said, Mr. Bishop, since we have some time, can I say something? I said, sure, you got a question? Well, no, not really a question. I just want to say something. Well, yeah, go ahead. That whole toothpaste thing? Yeah, I remember. Well, I tried it, and I didn't like it. I tried using just a little bit, and my mouth did not feel clean. So I used about that much on my toothbrush. Okay, great. Well, aren't you going to argue with me? No. Well, why not? Because you know the information, you've checked the sources, you tried it out, you made up your own mind. You like to use that much, I'm fine with that. I don't really care how much toothpaste you use. What I care about is, do you think for yourself with correct information from a good source? And you did. And that's what I try to get my students to realize as we go through the year. It's not just there's a mass media out there, because I can't change the mass media. I can't change the content. I can't make things be different than they are. However, I can give my students the tools to deal with the content that comes across the media and to be able to make decisions for themselves using good sources, not just letting a picture control their lives. And that is why toothpaste matters.